leads out Manchester United for the last time. This charismatic captain, the complete midfield player, the best professional, says Alex Ferguson, that he's ever worked with, a once-in-a-lifetime player, he called him earlier today. And still with one target he'd love to achieve on this, his 465th appearance for the club. Just one goal short of 100 for Manchester United. It would be a football fairy tale if he does score a goal this afternoon. You cannot overestimate his contribution to this famous football club. Stephen Lodge is ready. So the champions defend the goal to the right in the first half in splendid sunshine, somehow summing up their achievements in the Premiership. Leon Dublin. Lee Sharp. Been plenty of parties in this part of the world, and I think it's fair to say that some of the players have been partying as well.
Well, let's just say they'll have had one or two midweek, Martin. And quite deservedly so as well. I don't think anyone would have any complaints about that. What helps today is the injection of new blood, really. When I say new blood, the two young lads on the right side, Dion Dublin, who hasn't played much, McClair and Robson. All the people that Alex has brought in are all very keen to play and do well.
Pallister. And Love. Now Burrows. Julian Darby's got forward. Bolstered, of course, by his spectacular scoring success against Blackburn. They didn't really look for Derby. In the end, it was the 18-year-old Willie Boland who was coming in from the other side, as Derby had gone forward from the centre of midfield. Neville with this air of calm about his game again. Flynn, Bruce at his back. Morgan. Phil Babb is the player who stayed down. Eric Cantona showing some concern.
Yeah, it's chested down by Dion Dublin. Babb used his pace to get in there, and you see where Cantona catches him just on the side of the knee.
Borrocks. Flynn. Burrows again. That's more Coventry trying to put their passing into practice. Atherton. Held up well by Flynn. Jenkinson and Derby were really looking for the same area to run into. And no harm done to Manchester United. Rennie, the anchoring midfield player. Boland calling for a bit more help. Pallister. Some room here for McClair. Key holding wide on the right, ahead of Gary Neville. He's got a younger brother, would you believe, who's just had an award today as the Youth Player of the Year for Manchester United. They're quite a family. Their father is involved in football on the commercial side at Bury. This is Flynn. And Love now with a chance to work Gary Walsh. Not serious work for the goalkeeper.
The front two might cause Manchester United one or two problems today. If they'll stand off them and let them run at them and gather the ball and turn. I'd like to see an Love go and commit the centre-back there, Pallister. Go at him, test him early on.
Pallister. Sharp in the centre. Atherton seeing that and dealing with it. Coventry, of course, have to buy players sometimes a tenth of what Manchester United can pay.
That's unlucky.
Yeah. And you look around at the likes of Morgan, £100,000 bracket, Derby, £150,000. That's the currency that Phil Neal and his predecessors had to deal in. But there's nothing between the sides in the context of this particular match so far. Flynn. Rennie. Derby spreading the play. Jenkinson gets in his cross. There's not a lot of height forward for Coventry, but Flynn able to bring the ball down. Dare I suggest that he probably wouldn't have had quite that much time and space if the match had greater meaning to Manchester United.
That's always a possibility. Always. They're very slack here. Gary Pallister doesn't really react as quick as he may have done. That's why I think there might be some joy for them today.
Well, climatically, it's not easy for the players. It must be the warmest afternoon of the season, but Owen has got away here. Cantona closing in. Good touch for Coventry by Babb. Really inviting cross. One of Owen's strengths. And Love. Has got Willie Boland outside him. Keeps it central with Rennie. Now Jenkinson, who's only recently got into the team again. Came from Hull City towards the end of last season. Flynn, Rennie. Coventry keeping the ball.
No real width for Martin. Everyone's in the centre of the field. They've got no outlet wide on either the left or right.
We have now with Morgan, and when he was there, they gave the ball away.
Good possession, but had nowhere to go for about 30 seconds.
Neville, who's appeared a couple of times before in the first team in European games as a substitute this season and last. Pallister. Here's Neville. Looking up with Cantona. Cantona, and still, when he might have gone down and got a free kick. Concentrating certainly on the ball that time, and United try again with Bruce. Just when there was a little lethargy, it seemed, creeping into their play. Dublin now wins the header and shoots on the follow-up after Brian Robson had played his part in the Coventry penalty area.
Yeah, there's no surprise to see Robson getting in off a Dublin header. He's gambled all his life in those runs, and how profitable it's been to him.
Another assured touch from Gary Neville. They have great hopes for him here and for a number of other players of his generation. Colin McKee is just a year older from the year that won the FA Youth Cup 2 seasons ago. Cantona, oh, and it's McKee!
Well, he made a lovely run infield and dragged Steve Morgan with him, and that created a huge hole. Look at that run now, look at Morgan, he has to go with him. And that creates a huge hole for Cantona, and there's his vision. That's what he's all about. Picking out those runs.
Well, he can put it through the eye of a needle, and he did then. Pallister. When Alex Ferguson was considering who perhaps should be kept out of the firing line today, Gary Pallister's name was very low on the list. I think that's a compliment to what Pallister gives them on the back line. Dublin. Sharp takes it on. McKee again coming in from the right-hand side. Sharp almost going it alone, and then it came for Neville, who claimed a handball. It was a mishit shot. Sharp could have actually fed him in a better position for Neville to have a crack at goal, but was looking a bit for the glory himself.
Well, it opened up a bit now, but Sharp had no intention of using him. He decided to go on his own, and when it dropped for the kid, I thought, go on, hit it as well, and he rather choked the shot into the ground.
Was that handball by Bruce? Not intentionally. Not a difficult match for Stephen Lodge, the referee, to control at the moment. He just had to look closely at that early tackle by Cantona and Bab. Here's Brian McClare. And Derby, as all good midfield players do, prepared to run towards his own goal as well as into the area where you get the headlines on the attacking side of the game. Robson waits on the edge of the area. Irwin, his name being chanted. Robson's sharp crosses. McKee. Cantona had been keeping a watch from a deeper position. McKee crosses and took out Grizovic that time, but there was no really far post for Manchester United.
That's a better cross. About the first one they've put in this afternoon that players can actually go after. Most of them have dropped into the arms of Steve Grizovic, but there's a space there. There's a space to put it in behind the back four. And he does that, but no one can catch it up quick enough.
McKee. Robson's challenge. McKee again. It was, in the end, Brian McClare losing out. Neville. McClare is well offside. He was doing his best to get back without interfering with play. Irwin. Robson. United lined up on the edge of the area for Robson's cross. Will it fall for Cantona? Oh, stupendous stop! To stop what would have arguably been the goal of the entire campaign.
Well, why is it a goalkeeper saving this? Wouldn't that have been a fitting finale for the Players' Footballer of the Year? Look how quickly he adjusts his body shape. Hits it perfectly, and I tell you, Big Augie hasn't produced many better saves than that.
Pallister pushing.
Wonderful save. If he hadn't been 6'4" or 5, then you're right, that's a wonder goal. We can still admire the execution in the shot. Look at him, eye on the ball. Never loses it, hits it perfectly. You and I are sitting up here thinking that's in. But look at Augie, he's got other ideas. That's a wonderful save.
Cantona. He hasn't been charging around the pitch, but every now and then has introduced a classic moment. He is the champion amongst championship winners, of course. Marseille 91, Leeds 92, and now 2 titles in a row with Manchester United. Rennie. Jenkinson. This is Boland trying to get it back to Jenkinson again. And Gary Neville feels a bit hard done by here. Coventry have been given a corner.
I think Boland should have gone at them. Look at him going at Steve Bruce on the edge of the box. He opted for the pass wide, which was never really on. It was never very quite.
Rennie.
Well, just look at the kind of space that David Rennie has here for this header. I think in a normal match day, Martin, I don't think he'd find himself in that much space.
Well, there are some generous thoughts in these parts for Coventry City after what happened last Monday, but it shouldn't extend to too many presents out on the pitch. Coventry must have looked at their end-of-season fixtures with some alarm. Going to Blackburn away to Manchester United. And then that rearranged match against Chelsea, which they also won on Wednesday night. Perhaps they caught Chelsea slightly less committed than Sheffield United did yesterday. And Ben Huddle seemed to have put out his cup final team and said to the players, go and prove to me you should play at Wembley. I could say it's the luck of the draw, but after 42 games, usually justice is done. And Love. Rennie. Tied up again well by Neville. Robson. McClare. Atherton just repositioned and recognised which way McClare was going to try and slot the ball through to Cantona. We're 5 minutes away from half-time. The supporters sunbathing and the players doing their best, given a certain lack of immediate incentive for Manchester United to put on some sort of show here on the very last day of this FA Carling Premiership season. And Brian Robson in the thoughts of most United fans. Burrows hoping to be able to let it run, but Dion Dublin had other ideas. Trying to slip it through to Sharp, and he's battling well. Manchester United just going up a notch or two as half-time approaches. But the snapshot from Dublin veers well wide. Irwin. That's McKee! And denied a debut goal by another fine Grizovic save.
The thing that helps Steve Grizovic, people often talk, Martin, about heading the ball down. But I think when you head it down, you've got to head it over the line before it bounces. Now, if you watch this, when he heads it down, it's about a yard from the line. Now, that gives the goalkeeper a chance, in my opinion. And there are cases when I think you put your head in it and you head it straight in the back of the net.
Goes Robson! Well, we watched the loop there with particular interest.
So did everyone in the ground, held their breath there for a moment. I don't know whether it's a handball. I mean, that's why I thought he got up well. Goodness me.
Well, they think he's a god. So you can see what the obvious next line is. Love. Flynn won't reach it. Neville did, covering from right back. Sharp losing out to Boland, just too high for Flynn, as he went in with an arm raised as well.
a little bit more care. He actually smashes this across goal, Willie Boland. Does well to win it back. They've got players in, but look at the way he ups for power there, and it's very difficult to control it. But look at Varane ball. Must have just brushed against the hand. Just thought, go feed it in. Just tease it in there. He opted for power.
Robson. Claire. This is Neville. Cantona. McKee. The Frenchman again. Owen. No offside. Cantona holding his position in the centre, but there was not enough steam on the cross from Sharp. The best service from the left in the first half has undoubtedly come from Dennis Irwin. The first half illuminated by an extraordinary save from Steve Igrizovic, from Eric Cantona, with a flamboyant over-the-head effort which would have typified Manchester United's season had it gone in. It didn't. In the sunshine at Old Trafford at half-time, United 0, Coventry 0. Morgan. He certainly headed the ball, but he left an imprint on the back of Colin McKee.
Only because his momentum was there, Martin. I thought he won that very cleanly and very well.
And so did he. Rolled forward by Morgan. Now Undlov is off. And this can have spectacular consequences for the opposition. And a really probing run for Coventry, and Dion Dublin recognised the danger well.
Well, he's got plenty of energy, Dion, this season, and showing it there. The only thing Pierre Undlov had done is leave the rest of his teammates behind in that run. They were having great difficulty keeping up with him.
And Walsh plucks it out of the air from Willie Boland. Irwin. Cantona's offside. McKee. Neville. Just looking up again. Claire. Cantona. Bab took too long. Dublin injecting some urgency. Cantona going in, and Atherton right alongside him. Just doing enough.
That was a much better cross from Colin McKee. Looked up. To be fair, Cantona made the kid's mind up. He made a very good run. It would have been a difficult header to score from there. You could see he was beyond the near post. But Atherton did quite well. The cross was very good.
But everything rosy around Manchester United in every aspect of the industry, except in this particular match where Coventry are doing their best to find a victory that they would really appreciate.
A day off today.
Undlov past Parker. Surely he was tripped. He was. It's a free kick for Coventry City. Coming up to the 15-minute mark in the second half. The champions to be crowned officially at the end of the proceedings on the pitch Well, needed only perhaps a deflection from Unlove. He was coming across the line of the shot.
You just get the impression the supporters are building up for the final whistle now, aren't they? I bet there's not support here with mind if the referee cut it 15 minutes short, was it?
McKee. Wow, that was nearly what they've been waiting for during the match. A Manchester United goal with Dion Dublin coming in.
It's such an uncertain area, this. We talk about it all the time in football, that space between back fours and goalkeepers. Look at Bab. He's got horrible decisions. In fact, so bad he pulls out of it. And I think that took Dublin by surprise. I think he expected Bab to put something on this. He draws out of it. And really, it's not a very convincing finish.
Free kick against United. Round. Boland. Eligible for Coventry's youth team this season. Atherton. Back for Rennie. It's Brian Burrows who has the sense of adventure from right back. It didn't quite come off for Coventry. It wasn't for a lack of ambition. Bab. Flip. Bab with a cavalier charge up alongside his front players then. A draw today would take Manchester United's final tally to 92 points. In absolute terms, that is a new record. Everton 90, Liverpool 90. Leclerc looking to add 2 more points with a winning goal, but there might have been a handball here, Andy.
There might well have been as it comes through. He's saying it's his chest. Certainly looked their chest. The Coventry player's arms went up, and the referee has given a free kick. He was always leaning back there. He was never over the top of that.
Parker. Cleared by Walsh. And if you go back, applying the 3 points for a win to the figures when it was 2 points, the Liverpool side of 79 comes out on top. They would have had 98 points under this system. Boland. And still, good stop by Walsh. Well, if they need him for the cup final, he's certainly up for the job.
Well, there's nothing wrong with his reflexes, because that's what that was. Such a short, close distance.
Robson. McKee. Robson again. More Manchester United players forward in this attack than there have been in many others. Sharp. Must be so different for the players who are invariably pumped up with the need to get a result, to try and manufacture the right, almost subconscious approach here. The game spread at the moment, and suggesting there might be some late opportunities. Willie Boland certainly had one for Coventry, and Gary Walsh stopped him collecting what would be his first goal.
Well, they almost got in each other's way, Peter Unlove and Willie Boland here. I mean, they get through quite easily. And look at that, they don't know who wants it. Oh, I'll have it. And I think he thought he'd steered that wide of Walsh, but it was a fine reaction save from him. Watch this, low to his left, difficult to get down there, near your feet. That was wonderful reactions from the goalkeeper.
Alex Ferguson gave him his debut for Manchester United way back in 1986. The following year he was recognised as the regular goalkeeper. That time it also also seemed certain that he would go on and represent England. He might do, of course, but injuries have taken their toll. It's been a long, hard road back for Walsh. He's the man in possession at the moment. The United goal and possession on the ball was unloved. McKee. Morgan having a good look at him. Backing off. Cantona. McKee in behind Morgan. Dublin. Oh, would have been an own goal. Is it? Or was it a hand? It's not going to count.
That's what he's given. He's annoyed with the linesman because the linesman didn't signal. Dublin saying it was a head. Good movement though. McKee plays a 1-2. Cantona naturally delivers the ball perfectly. Now let's look at Dublin closely. The ball sits up there. Yeah, I think that's a hand. Certainly nowhere near his head. Comes in again. They look like they're both missing it. Up goes. There it is. Atherton clears it. I tell you what though, from that distance, is it deliberate? I think it just hits Dublin. Atherton's clearing that. I don't know if Dublin knew an awful lot about that. I think it's natural though, if the referee sees that, he gives a...
Well, he saw it, the linesman didn't. That's what Peter Atherton was looking across at.
You know, if that is the other way around, Martin, had Dion Dublin been hitting it off of the defender from that range, we would be saying, well, it's no penalty, because he can't do anything about it, it's so close to him.
Well, maybe it's a more charitable day than usual. That
okay, we'll go along with that.
That won't wash with Dion Dublin, I'm sure. He still wants to make a major impact here with Manchester United. Sharp. Still Sharp. Cantona and Dublin, the two United would have wanted in the far post area, were well placed. Coventry defended the cross well. And it's ended with Steve Morgan off the pitch, but in need of treatment. Well, Morgan then came back onto the pitch, which possibly why Cantona was complaining.
He goes up with the back post with Phil Babb. Cantona's behind both of them. And Babb and Morgan, they go up. It's his own player. It's Phil Babb that catches him with his right arm as Morgan goes to clear it. Watch Babb's arm. Look how dangerous. I mean, if that catches Babb on the hand, does the referee give a penalty there? It's very close.
Possibly will be charitable to Cantona that he was calling for the referee to acknowledge the injury, but certainly Steve Morgan came back on so that the game couldn't be restarted. Well, they've come here for more than a match today. Part of the reason to say farewell to Brian Robson, and the day not without a touch of sorrow in the one missing friend, Sir Matt Busby, the founding father of the modern Manchester United. You couldn't ask for a better stadium to celebrate in, could you? The sides linked so well, the symmetry of the setting, and the mood has got all in harmony. Rennie. Well, Neville trying to knock it back to the goalkeeper.
It's something that potential champions of the future, Martin, should be looking at. The players in particular should be looking at this today and saying, do we want a bit of that? And the answer should be, yes, we do.
What the United fans are not going to get, it seems, is a bigger stadium. Be, at the moment, far too complicated and far too costly. Atherton. United don't own all the ground surrounding the stadium, which it would be necessary to build. Boland. Derby. Is it another one for him? It's not. Bar and then post and then out. Rennie. Coventry was celebrating, and then there was nothing to cheer them finally. Sean Flynn just limping back into an onside position.
It's a lovely piece of football, Mark, it really was. Vol Burrows there, he linked up with Boland who skipped through. Now look at Derby, he just pulls off. Boland spots him.
Come back to Cantona, Dublin! Oh! Grizovic in prime condition here, the veteran goalkeeper with another super save to deny Dublin this time.
Oh, he's enjoying the day, Steve Grizovic. This is a great ball in. Dublin meets it perfectly with a very powerful header, and that's a great reaction save from a big man. Two super saves he's produced today.
It was the power that was going to beat him, and the reflexes still razor sharp. And all that only seconds after Julian Derby thought that he'd given Coventry the lead.
We'll get a look at that in a minute, I think. It was quite extraordinary that Derby's attempt didn't end up in the net. I was amazed.
Pallister. Well, as yet there's not been a chance for Robson to get the milestone goal. And it hasn't really dominated his thinking, particularly in the second half. He hasn't played too many matches, of course. And at his age, 37 now, up and back is pretty daunting in the sunshine. We'll look at that Julian Derby incident in a minute, but everyone who's watched Manchester United this season knows that they've got such pace in their attack that you have to wait for the appropriate moment. Neville. Pallister. So Dion Dublin's had a goal disallowed, and a header that looked as though it might win the day for Manchester United, stopped superbly by Grizovic. Robson.
Particularly disappointing for me, Mark, as I've got him in the sweep.
Dublin.
Yes.
Contribution to Steve Grizovic's testimonial fund was obviously lacking from you. Here's Jenkinson. Colin McKee tracking back. It might be the last act from him, because indeed it is. He's going to be taken off to give Roy Keane a little run.
He's done well. He can be pleased with his contribution. He'll have enjoyed it.
Roy Keane, the only one of the 14 players who is going to get a championship memento today who hasn't got one already. Maybe he will say he was responsible for the extra points that they've got this season compared to last. Could have gone to Blackburn, of course. Chose Manchester United instead, and I would feel that he's not regretting that decision at the moment. Free kick, though, to Coventry. Drops for Babb. Boland. Walsh coming and claiming. And Schmeichel, like he was looking to hurl it out quickly, but it wasn't on for United then. Keane. Robson. Under 15 minutes to go of this Premiership season. The biggest success story on the ball at the moment through Roy Keane. Jenkinson.
Well, it does give us a chance to look at Julian Darby's so close to bringing the lead. He plays it to that far, off the crossbar, off the post. You see it bounce right on the line. There's a load of blue shots around, but none of them can get near it.
Here's Brian Robson in a red shirt. Sharp. Keane. Cantona. I think Dublin got in his way, rather. Keane. Oh, Robson, it was just too long for him. There's some signs now that Manchester United are just trying to finish it all in style.
They'd like to do that. Did that last year against Blackburn here, didn't they? You and I were here. It was a fine evening. Finished in style, 3-1 victors. I'm sure they would like to give these wonderful supporters they feel they have here just something to go out on.
As it was almost scripted, the Gary Pallister free kick to make it 3-1, almost the final kick of the season. Paul Parker would be the man this time, but I think Brian Robson will be ahead of the queue. If anything comes up near goal, Parker, the one who hasn't scored from the regulars. Atherton. Parker's only goal for the club came last season here against Tottenham. It's going to be a free kick to United. Well, they're applauding the present here and recognising the past, but it all looks good for the future for United. An organisation geared for success on the business and the footballing fronts. Well, confusion here, which might have left a little bit of egg on the face. And Coventry have the present of a corner.
Such is the occasion, Matt. No one's too bothered. Casual knockback. Gary Walsh loses his footing.
And they always say play a back pass away from the goal just in case. That's why. Morgan. Looked as though he might have kept that in, but the linesman, who's a long way away, didn't think so. There's no need to protest at this stage for Steve Morgan. Coventry City turning their thoughts towards summer break. Manchester United towards the FA Cup final. Dublin! Igrizovic has lost it! Roy Keane cashes in, but the flag is up, and it's no goal. Still 0-0.
Well, just not never going to get one. Dublin hits this very well. Who's pulled off the line of attack? McClare's very aware now. Is it Keane? Oh, it's very tight. I mean, if he's given McClare in the bottom right-hand corner, then that's ridiculous. I tell you, it was very tight for anyone else. I didn't think anyone was offside at the time, Martin.
Well, there was a little bit of luck for Igrizovic. Here's Unlove. Walsh read the play well. Sharp. Cantona, that was brave, and he got the break because of it. Eric going on. Oh, now that came back, and it's been called a back pass, really on appeal by Cantona. And Manchester United, not sure about the merits of it, Andy, we'll see here. They've got the free kick.
Well, he's making a tackle as far as I'm concerned, Brian Burrows. He's not deliberately attempting to play it back. That's why there's so much confusion about this rule. But it does give United a chance. I'm looking at Robbo. He's on the edge of the 18-yard box, just on the left of the screen there. And it wouldn't surprise me if they roll it back, Martin.
Well, if it goes according to the script here, it will be rolled back to Robson, who'll crash it into the back of the net. We shall see. Grizovic in front of the defenders. But it's Cantona. No sentiment from him. And no goal from him either, but it was very, very close.
Glorious cheek, though. He knows he can't go through it, so he thinks, and I might just get it over the wall. Oh, he came very close to achieving it.
It's a much more stirring second half. That was the head of Keane. Only sending the ball only up in the air, then the subsequent bounce beating Pallister. Good, diligent work from Irwin. Flag up. Must have been another close one against Cantona.
Must be looking into the sun, this linesman in the near side, Mark. One or two very close decisions.
Well, you look into the monitor here and have a look again at Eric Cantona's cheek.
Now look, there's pretty small players in that wall, quite a few of them. Look how close he comes to getting it over the top. Oh, very close.
Peter Atherton was coming right round the back in the net. Required. Keane. Seven minutes or so to go. McClare. Pallister. Flynn. Dublin's everywhere at the moment. This is Jenkinson. Cantona. Phil Babb, watching and wondering, jockeying. What's in Cantona's mind here? Looks to me as though they push Brian Robson up now, and Dion Dublin is going to be the midfield general.
Well, they're desperate to get him a goal, that's a certainty.
Phil Neal's Coventry have not just come here to make up the numbers, though. And my word, they came close to getting a potentially decisive goal from Julian Darby. The ball bouncing down off the bar onto the post and staying out. McClare. Robson. Dublin forward this time. Bounces off McClare. Cantona. Parker glancing it down. Gary Neville, a nice game for him in which to start his league career. Not too many potential pitfalls in these circumstances. Will he get the win bonus? Not unless Manchester United manufacture something towards the end. Pallister, maybe they will here, with McClare! It was flying, it seemed, towards the top corner. It was good movement with the feet from Grizovic before he needed the hands.
This is the difference when you get a clean sight of it. I think he sees that very early. And because of that, he can take 2 or 3 steps, and it becomes a very comfortable save from a very well-struck shot. It has to be said, he hit that very well, Brian McClare.
McClare looking for one for the family album there. Derby and Love. Neville. 4 minutes left. No great need for Stephen Lodge to go on too much extra time. was the stoppage when Morgan was hurt in the second half. Sharp. Dublin. Key. Dublin picking the pass well. Irwin. They're flooding into the centre. Keane. And the only Huddersfield in the 20s, Arsenal in the 30s and Liverpool in the 80s have ever won it 3 times in a row. What do you think?
I think they're certainly capable of doing it, Martin. I think it'll be difficult. I mean, they found it not hard this year, but the challenge from Blackburn was there right until the penultimate weekend of the season. But I think when you look around at what's going to happen in the summer, I do believe that Blackburn will be better prepared.
Pallister. Well, it's sure that Brian Robson won't be around for next year's challenge in whatever competition.
I mean, I'm saying to you that other people will strengthen in the summer. We'll wait to see what Alex Ferguson will do in the summer. I'm sure that if anyone learned anything off of Liverpool for 20 odd years, it was always strengthen, always buy. Even though you think you've got a great 11, always buy.
Sharp. Flynn. Michael Phelan also leaving Manchester United at the end of the season. We should give him a mention as well. Played a particularly strong part 2 or 3 years ago. FA Cup winner, League Cup winner, European Cup Winners' Cup winner. Wish him well in new circumstances. I'm sure he'll be not short of offers. Morgan, Lundlof, Derby. Now Keane. And it's Brian Robson. McClare inside him. And Robson's there again. And it was neither a goal-scoring shot or a cross that connected with Cantona, tantalising in between the two.
It's the best chance he's had. It may be the best chance he's going to get. Because you watch the way he's ever so alert. So is McClare now. He's got time. Does he opt for power? He tries to bend it in the top corner. But that really was about the best chance that Robbo's had all day. Time to look up, time to size it up. Opted for precision.
Dublin trying to nudge it to McClare. I think missed it altogether. Final minute. No goals, but plenty of efforts at goal in the second half. Both goalkeepers have been at their best. McClare. Here's Robson. Stephen Lodge looks at his watch.
It's not going to be a goal for Robbo, you feel, but I think a championship winning medal is sufficient compensation, Martin.
Keane. The championship season is in its last few seconds. Coventry City have held a much-changed Manchester United to a draw. The last Premiership points to be allocated this season, 1 apiece. Goodbye from all the Manchester United fans to Brian Robson here at Old Trafford. maybe an involvement in the FA Cup final next Saturday, which now occupies all the thoughts of the Manchester United management. But really the main event to come, the match part of the undercard, because the Premiership prize is waiting. Winning it once, a great achievement. Holding on to the league title takes a very special effort indeed. And Manchester United found that extra dimension rarely given to defending champions. Effortless it seemed over the first half of the season, though of course it wasn't. After that, Blackburn Rovers, with their own remarkable run, made sure that United had to be on their mettle to keep Kenny Dalglish from destroying their dreams, as he so often did when he played for Liverpool. Blackburn were breathing down United necks, but they couldn't knock the champions off the top of the league, not even for a day or two.
If there's anything about you at all as a professional footballer, this is what you want to sample. Sometimes difficult for the players down there, because this is a combination of 42 games to know how to feel. But when you sit down in the summer in the cold light of day and look at your achievements, every one of that man's players will be proud of what they've achieved. If you can win one thing, then this is the thing to win. This is what means most to a professional footballer.
Well, it started on August the 15th with a 2-0 win at Norwich. A campaign characterised by fast-flowing football. Steve Bruce heads the United line on his own this time, although Brian Robson is close behind. They found a captain capable of succeeding Robson, a courageous and capable player in his own right, a great guy as well, and a great team behind him. 2 titles in a row, and even sweeter, I'm sure, the second time around. Ian Prosser, the chairman of BAS, makes the presentation. Manchester United, and Alex Ferguson appreciates that, between the current captain and Captain Fantastic.
That was a wonderful touch from Steve Bruce, because that was all his doing, Martin. Steve was given permission to go up on his own and collect it, but he says no. And I think that's a measure of the respect that these current United players have for one who will be with them no longer after today.
Down the line it goes. What a cheer for Eric Cantona. He's used to all this, of course. Ryan Giggs not involved today. He'll surely will be at Wembley. Paul Ince as well. Paul Parker, so reliable throughout at the back. And they love Andrei Kanchelskis here. And they'd love him to stay here. I'm sure that contractual problem will be sorted out. For 5 successive seasons, Alex Ferguson has found the winning formula, starting with the trophy that all at Old Trafford hope is next in line, the FA Cup. But championships are the true test of a team. George Graham told me last week his real ambition is to win a 3rd league title with Arsenal. Alex Ferguson will be striving to achieve that in consecutive years, something only achieved 3 times before by Huddersfield in the 20s, Arsenal in the 30s, and of course Liverpool in the 80s. Roy Keane, who wasn't involved last season, is in when the medals are handed out this time. Marvellous moments for Manchester United. The match here not really too important to the day. This is what it's been all about. The FA Carling champions, Manchester United.